Naranasan nyo na po bang ma-in love ng sobrang-sobra na ibibigay nyo ang lahat kahit na kalaban siya ng inyong pamilya? The privilege of being a priest, marami pong nagbabanggit ng ganun sa akin. Father, pagdasal nyo naman ako. Bakit? Normally, hindi naman mga anak ang nagrereklamo, mga magulang. Kasi, yung boyfriend ng anak ko, yung girlfriend ng anak ko, ayaw na ayaw ko, Father. Sana hindi sila magkatuluyan. Oh dear. Mas malala kung mga artista ang magsasabi sa amin. Pati si Father, naku-curious, ay, ganun po pala yung pinagdaraanan nila. Kaya lang, hindi namin pwedeng sabihin sa inyo kung anong update sa nangyayari sa buhay nila. Kasi, baka i-marites nyo sa iba. At headline, sa ulo ng mga nagbabagang balita, isang pari ang pinanggalingan ng source na si ganito, si ganyan, mag-on pala o magkahiwalay na pala. Nakakahiya. Si Father pa ang source ng chismis. So, siyempre, tahimik lang si Father. Bakit may ganun? No? When we are so in love, we give everything. And so we know the person is not in love to us, or we know that we are not truly in love if we only give little. Bakit nakakasira ng ulo ang maging in love? Why? I don't know the answer. But what is sure is if we are so in love, we want to give everything for that person, right? That is our relationship to God should look and feel like. Ganun po dapat tayo sa pag-ibig ng pag-ibig ng relasyon natin sa Diyos. Are we so in love with God? He is so in love to us. He is so in love that He will give His only Son. Wala siyang itinira sa kanyang sarili at ibinigay niya ng lahat sa atin. Hindi kailangang maghirap si Kristo para ibigay niya ang sarili niya sa atin. Ngunit katulad ng Ama, si Kristo bilang imahe ng Ama would like to give us everything hanggang maubos ang buhay niya. Ganun tayo kamahal ni Kristo. What will be our response? If Christ is so in love to us because He is like the Father who is so in love with His Son, but also so in love with His people, and He would give everything to His people to the point of death, how are we going to respond? God has given us His everything. He emptied Himself. Hinahanap ko kung babasahin nyo na bukas o sa Saturday pa. O, nabasa na pala. It was the reading of yesterday. I should remember that. But I had a different homily for the brothers yesterday. No? Yesterday, although he was in the form of God, he did not take equality with God a thing to be grasped. He emptied himself. Talagang inubos ni Kristo ang kanyang sarili para maibigay sa atin. God emptied himself. Jesus Christ emptied himself to give us everything. And so, how do we respond? I think Jesus is crazily in love with us. Do you think? Masyado po yatang nababaliw na ang ating Panginoon na ibibigay niya ang lahat para sa atin. But how do we respond? Sometimes we take it for granted. But you see, that's what real love would do to you. You would give everything. And so, the letter of St. Paul that follows, the chapter that follows, still, in the letter to the Philippians, not Philippines, Philippians. Ano sabi niya? Therefore, because God has given you everything, work out your salvation. What? Akala ko ba ang magliligtas sa akin si Kristo? Bakit inutusan tayo ni San Pablo na work out your salvation? We need to work out our salvation. Pinakikilos niya tayo. Now, when we hear this, please do not misinterpret it by saying, therefore, we have to do good works every day, going to Mass every day, pray the Rosary every day, and then we will go to heaven. That is not what is said there. Anong ibig sabihin dito sa work out your salvation? Hindi na po natin kailangang lumayo kasi pinaliwanag po ni San Pablo paano i-work out ang salvation sa succeeding verses. Ano sabi niya? For God is the one who for His good purpose works in you both to desire and to work. Do everything without grumbling or questioning, that you may be blameless and innocent, children of God without blemish. In working out our salvation, we need to be like Christ, following the will of God without complaining, like Jesus. Hindi po nagreklamo si Kristo. Ibinigay niya ang kanyang lahat nang hindi nagrereklamo. Jesus followed the will of God. He emptied himself without complaining. That is how we are going to work out our salvation. Na makakalimutan na natin ang ating sarili dahil si Kristo na ang buhay natin. Na wala ng Glen sa buhay ko dahil ang tumitira na sa pagkataong ito ay si Kristo. There is no more Glen in the world. What exists is Jesus in me. Very emptied of Glen. That I won't desire anymore na pagdating doon sasabihin nyo, Father, nice homily. That I don't care anymore if you say that to me because there is no more Glen. Wanting to hear you praising my homily. What I would desire is that you will see Jesus in me. That is how we are going to work out our salvation. To empty ourselves hanggang wala na pong maiwan na tayo. At ang matitira na lang ay si Kristo. But you see, it's painful. And only very few gets it. It's painful. Because you will choose the lowest of low, not to be recognized, not to be recognized as the first, not to be recognized to be important. You choose to eat last. You choose to be served last. You choose the most uncomfortable situation so that other people will have the luxury. It's painful. Parents would have realized this by now. Di ba ang hirap po magpalaki ng mga anak? Araw-araw parang namamatay. Right? And it's painful. To pursue the path of consecrated life, my brothers and sisters, it's painful. Because the path is to empty oneself so that there is no more self, only Christ. How can that be easy? And sometimes when I talk to the brothers, I grieved with them. Umiiyak akong kasama nila. Because I know, I can know, I can see. Oh dear, malayo-layo pa itong tao na ito. Ang dami pa niyang iiyak. Ang layo pa. No, when the brothers would talk to me and I would like, oh, he would have a very long journey and he will cry buckets of tears before he would realize how empty he would become bago siya maging consecrated brother. And I grieved because I've experienced that myself, to be so emptied by God. And it's dark. And it's lonely. Even if you don't become a priest, a brother, or a sister, even circumstances, may pagdadaanan po kayong pagsubok sa buhay that would empty you of yourself. It's dark. It's painful. Makakaya niyo ba? And so our gospel reading, when we know that God has truly loved us, when we experience His love and we respond in genuine response of self-emptying. Panginoon, gusto ko pong sundan ka. And so the path is self-emptying. Like Jesus did, it's difficult. It's painful. Handa ba tayo? It will be difficult because there's two options. Either we voluntarily embrace it or life imposed it to us. Some of us voluntarily, myself including, voluntarily accepted this path of self-emptying. Wala akong magiging tagapagmana ng genes ko. Walang magiging little Glen. Ang lungkot. Self-emptying. That's voluntary. But some of you it will be imposed to you. You had separation in the family, no? Relational problem. Either you were forgotten by your children. You had illness that you don't want. Rejection from work. Mga bagay na i-impose sa inyo ng buhay hindi nyo gusto, and yet you are forced to empty yourself. It's painful. Kaya ba natin? But you see, if what we only see is that we empty ourselves at hindi natin nakikita na si Kristo filling us with Himself, na si Kristo pinupuno naman niya ang ating pagkatao ng pagka-Diyos niya, kapag hindi natin yung nakikita, madedepress talaga tayo. But here is the encouragement, my brothers and sisters. The more we empty ourselves, the more Jesus can fill in our hearts with His life. Pupunuin tayo ni Kristo ng Kanyang buhay. If we truly love, we will do crazy things. Kung tunay nating mahal ang Diyos, gagawa tayo ng mga bagay na ginagawa ng mga nasisiraan ng bait. But it's okay because we know we gain the life of Christ. Amen.